Let's be honest. Most men today are chasing women who stopped being interested a long time ago. They text too much. They call too soon. They show up too available. And then they wonder why the energy dies, why she loses interest, or why she suddenly says, "I need space." But here's the truth no one wants to admit. Women don't chase men they can predict. They chase the man who moves with calm confidence. The one who doesn't beg for attention because he is attention. This video isn't about tricks or manipulation. It's about reversing your mindset. Because the moment you start acting like she's the prize, you already lost. Women are naturally drawn to strength, direction, and control. Not control over them, but control over yourself. And that's where most men fail. They think chasing equals effort, when in reality chasing equals insecurity. Every time you double text, over-explain, or try to prove your worth, you're telling her you don't believe you already have it. Here's what most guys don't realize. When you stop running toward her, she starts wondering where you went. When you stop trying to convince her, she starts trying to understand you. When you focus on your purpose, your peace, your growth, you flip the dynamic without saying a word. Because attraction isn't built through words, it's built through energy. When your energy says, "I'm not desperate, I'm disciplined," everything changes. That's when she becomes curious. That's when she starts to chase. So if you're tired of doing everything right and still being ignored, this video is your reality check. We're going to break down exactly why women chase certain men and ghost others, and how you can become the kind of man who never needs to beg for effort again. This isn't about ego. It's about balance. Because the moment you stop chasing women and start chasing your potential, you won't have to look for her. She'll find you. Let's start here, because this is where most men destroy their attraction before it even begins. Too many men think attention equals approval, and approval equals love. So they chase her likes, her texts, her emojis, anything that gives them a small hit of validation. But here's the truth. When you start needing her approval, you've already lost your value. Validation is like a drug. The more you chase it, the weaker you become. You start adjusting your tone, your behavior, even your confidence, just to get a small reaction from her. And in that moment, you stop being yourself. Women can feel it instantly. They can tell when your compliments come from confidence or from insecurity. They can sense when you're trying too hard, when every message you send is secretly saying, "Please like me." That energy kills attraction faster than anything else. Here's what you need to understand. A man who truly values himself doesn't chase reassurance, he gives it. He doesn't look for approval, he inspires it. Validation should flow toward you, not from you. For example, imagine two men texting a woman they like. The first one keeps checking his phone, rereading her messages, overthinking every reply, asking his friends, "What should I say next?" The second one sends his message, puts his phone down, and goes back to his work or gym. Guess who gets the response first? The one who didn't need it. Because neediness creates pressure, and pressure kills attraction. The moment you stop seeking validation, you become validation. You stop chasing her attention and start commanding it. You stop begging for energy and start radiating it. Remember this. You can't lead a connection when you're begging for one. Your worth isn't defined by how much she likes you, it's defined by how much you respect yourself when she doesn't. The first step to making her chase you is simple. Stop chasing approval. Start being the man who doesn't need anyone to clap before he knows he's already winning. You've heard the saying, people value what's rare. It applies to gold, luxury cars, and yes, men with standards. But most guys do the opposite. They make themselves too available, too accessible, too easy to reach. Every time she texts, they reply instantly. Every time she calls, they drop everything. Every time she cancels plans, they smile and say, "It's fine." And then they wonder why she loses interest. Here's the truth. If she feels like she can have you anytime, she stops wanting you at all. Not because she's cruel, but because human psychology works that way. When something is always available, our brain assumes it has low value. When something is rare, it becomes desirable. Look at it like this. Imagine you walk into a store and there's a watch sitting in a glass case with a tag that says, "One of a kind." Even if you weren't planning to buy a watch, you suddenly start to want it. That's how attraction works. Scarcity creates curiosity, and curiosity fuels desire. So when you're always available, texting nonstop, or giving her attention on demand, you kill the chase before it begins. You become predictable, comfortable, safe, but not exciting. Here's the twist most men don't get. Being scarce doesn't mean playing games. It means having a life that's already full. It means your time is valuable because you're busy building something real. You're not ignoring her, you're focused on purpose. That's the difference between distance and direction. When a woman feels that your attention has to be earned, she naturally puts in effort to keep it. And when she invests effort, she becomes emotionally connected. That's how the chase begins, not through manipulation but through self-respect. So stop being everywhere all the time. Make your presence mean something. When she sees that you're not waiting for her text, you're out there living, her curiosity grows. Because in the end, men who are always available rarely get chosen. Men who are valuable never need to be. Sometimes the most powerful thing you can say is nothing. Because silence has weight. It carries confidence, discipline, and control. And in a world where everyone is desperate to be heard, silence becomes rare, and that makes it powerful. When a man reacts to everything, argues over every word, explains himself constantly or tries to prove his side, he loses his frame. He becomes predictable, emotional, easy to read. And once you're easy to read, you're easy to control. But when you learn to stay quiet, not out of weakness but out of strength, everything changes. She starts to wonder what you're thinking. She replays the last conversation in her head. She starts to fill in the silence with her own thoughts. That's when curiosity begins. Because here's the truth, silence forces reflection. It gives space for emotion to grow. It gives you power because you're not reacting, you're observing. And the man who observes sees everything. Most men talk their way out of attraction. They over-explain, over-text, over-apologize. They think constant communication builds connection, but it actually kills the mystery. You don't have to announce your value. You show it by how little you need to prove it. When you stay calm and quiet in moments of pressure, you send a clear signal, I'm in control. When you don't chase answers, she realizes you're not dependent on her validation. And that's when she starts to lean in. Not because you played a game, but because you stood your ground. Your silence says, I'm not afraid to lose what's not meant for me. I don't need to explain who I am. I'm not competing for your attention, I'm commanding it. So the next time she pulls back, goes cold, or tries to test your reaction, don't rush to respond. Don't argue. Don't panic. Let silence do the work. Because sometimes the loudest statement a man can make is his ability to stay quiet. Men have forgotten how to be mysterious. They've traded depth for desperation. Always texting first, always trying to prove they're different, always seeking attention from women who don't even notice them. And that's the problem. Because when a woman knows everything about you too soon, she stops being curious. And when she stops being curious, she stops chasing. Mystery isn't manipulation. It's discipline. It's the art of not giving away everything at once. It's leaving room for discovery. It's being unpredictable not because you're playing games, but because you're focused on your mission, not her mood. Too many men today live for female validation. They wake up thinking about how to text her, how to impress her, how to get her attention. Bro, wake up. That energy is supposed to be going into yourself, into your goals, into becoming someone she naturally wants to know more about. When you're mysterious, you create emotional gravity. She starts asking questions. What's he thinking? Why doesn't he seem affected? What's he working on that's keeping him so focused? That curiosity is attraction. It's not about pretending to be cold, it's about being complete without her. See, the more predictable you are, the less powerful you become. If you're always available, always explaining yourself, always showing your emotions at the wrong time, you remove the thrill. And once the thrill is gone, the chase dies. You've got to learn to hold something back. Not secrets, standards, not arrogance, presence. Be the kind of man who reveals himself slowly, not because he's hiding anything but because he's selective with who gets access to his energy. Women test men not to hurt them, but to see if they can handle the weight of real attraction. And most men fail because they fold too easily. If you want her to chase you, stop trying to prove your worth. Start showing it through your silence, your confidence, and your mystery. Stop being loud about what you plan to do, and start doing it. Because when a man becomes mysterious, he becomes unforgettable. And when he becomes unforgettable, she can't help but chase. Subscribe if you're enjoying this video. Every man has to learn this lesson the hard way. The moment you stop caring too much is the moment she starts caring more. Because the truth is simple, obsession kills attraction. When you're always available, always checking your phone, always ready to drop your world for her, you lose value in her eyes. Not because she's cruel, but because people don't value what's always available. It's human nature. Scarcity creates desire. When something is rare, we protect it. We think about it more. We fight to keep it. That's how attraction works too. When you're constantly chasing, you send one message, you're the prize. But when you shift your focus back to yourself, your growth, your peace, everything flips. Suddenly you become the prize. That doesn't mean ignoring her or acting cold. It means you stop living in reaction mode. You stop overanalyzing texts. You stop begging for attention. You stop treating her mood like your mission. You start moving like a man with direction. You start smiling again for no reason. You start focusing on your craft, your money, your purpose. And that's when everything changes. Because women don't chase men who worship them. They chase men who inspire them. They're drawn to men who are centered, calm, focused, and fulfilled. When you stop caring whether she calls, texts, or stays, that's when she feels your absence. She starts noticing what she's losing. Your energy changes. Your silence becomes power. Your indifference becomes magnetism. It's not about playing hard to get, it's about being hard to replace. The moment you stop caring isn't the end, it's the beginning of her realizing your value. Because while you were chasing, she was testing. But once you walk away from the test, that's when she studies the lesson. So let her wonder. Let her feel your distance. Because sometimes the best way to win her attention is to stop needing it. Here's the truth most men don't want to hear. She doesn't fall for the man who gives her everything. She falls for the man she can't fully figure out. That's the reality of attraction. When you learn to master yourself, you stop chasing love, and love starts chasing you. So I'll leave you with this. The man who controls his emotions controls the relationship. That's the difference between the one who's wanted and the one who's forgotten. Now, I want to hear from you. Have you ever been in a situation where you realized walking away gave you more power? Share your experience in the comments. I'll be reading and responding personally. Because this isn't just advice, it's a brotherhood. Speech balloon fire. If you enjoyed the video, please share, subscribe, and turn on your notifications.